Great to have you back. Still on Breakfast Central this morning. We start up the second half with the newspapers. I'll share with you some of the biggest conversations happening on the newspapers. We're going to be kicking off on the Punch newspapers here in Nigeria this morning. The big one there says NNPC Limited marketers disagree over supply as queues spread. Sadly, and that's the current reality in many parts of Lagos. I'm guessing it's going to be, even in other parts of the country. No supply from NNPC for over 1 month. Ex-depot price hits 605, says Ipman. Stop panic buying. There's sufficient product. Who exactly is telling the truth? That's really what it is, because the reality is that petrol stations aren't selling and Nigerians are having to queue long hours to buy petrol. So when NNPC says stop panic buying, what do you mean by panic buying? It's not panic buying because we feel like panic buying. It's panic buying because no other person is selling. And when you find somebody selling, you're going to go there and get in the queue. So what does the NNPC mean by stop panic buying? And it's very, very insensitive, because we're not even talking about petrol at 126 naira a litre. We're talking about petrol at 600 naira a litre. In some places, even more than 600 naira a litre. And you still wouldn't find it to buy.
And the unfair thing about this is whenever there's fuel scarcity, we then start to see an automatic increase. Even people who haven't yet gone to replace the stock in their stores automatically increase in anticipation of the increased cost of living, right? So as they're telling you don't panic buy, people will panic buy and increase the cost of their products in their stores. It's just going to be, in fact, even me that I'm speaking to you, it's because I was too tired yesterday, I couldn't go and queue. If I could queue, I would have filled up my car and bought like 2 extra jerry cans and just kept it there because of the generator. So it's just a very unfortunate reality.
Anyway, it is, the reality for a lot of Nigerians. And once again, it's very unfair, to people who have done absolutely nothing wrong but be Nigerians and, hope for a better country every 4 years. That's really what Nigerians have done. They've played their part in voting, and have continued to really just hope that things improve or things get better. And of course, there is still no executive that has been able to checkmate these agencies of government that have failed to make things better, somehow, some way. No executive, no presidency, no government that has been able to fully checkmate them. Maybe since 1999, maybe once or twice. But since then, it seems like it's just been on a downward spiral. But and also to mention that the agreement that this government had when it came in with the bold statement of fuel subsidy is gone, is that independent marketers will be able to import petrol. And so Nigerians wouldn't have to rely only on the NNPC as a source of petrol for the nation. But that's not the case. Because in the last few months, independent marketers have complained that they still are not able to import petrol because they're not being given forex. So it's basically, the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's the picture in Nigeria. Supreme Court begins Atiku's appeal against Tinubu on Monday. And of course, Nigerians are fingers crossed. Some of them have given up. Israeli, Hamas, US, UK, Germany ask citizens to leave Lebanon. INEC Defense 2023 poll says 712 petitions dismissed. Interesting. Resist drug cartel temptations, Marwa tells NDLEA officials. And also, President appoints new heads for NTA, NBC, and 8th orders. Okada riders shun government's ban, return to restricted Lagos road. Sanwo-Olu, just to remind everyone that there is a lot of suffering going on. And sometimes it's hard to place these rules on people who really just need to feed, just need to eat. It's really difficult. Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Dangote bid Akintola Williams farewell. I think that took place yesterday also. These are the big stories on the Punch newspapers. Let's move away and see what's on the Vanguard this morning.
On the Vanguard this morning, the big story says, federal government labors deal under threat. NLC accuses Lalong of violation. Says federal government never negotiated in good faith. Vows to resist attempt to foist new leadership on NURTW. Insists government failure to fully implement agreement will lead to nationwide strike. Excuse me. Petrol scarcity, queues grow longer as depots dry up. Israel-Hamas war, U.S. lists Nigeria under third tier of worldwide travel alert to Americans. Israel-Hamas war, still following up on that story. Sharia Council, CAN, PFN, disagree over Nigeria's rule. That's an interesting read. It's on page 8. Tinubu appoints Issa Onilu, Ali M, Ali, and 6 others under Information Ministry. We did talk about that in the first half of the show, where we said there's been a lot of shaking going on, some hiring and firing that has happened in the Information and National Orientation Agency. Kano government doles out PGD scholarship to 1,001 beneficiaries. And we have here, there's a column. Okay, no, I don't think this is something we should bother on. Sports transfer, Newcastle United plan move for Boniface. At the top of the paper, we have customers' deposits in bank rise 56.6% to 75.5 trillion naira. I think that's great news because there was a time not too long ago, less than a year ago, where the deposits dropped drastically due to the naira policy, and there were fears that people would no longer trust the banks to be able to be, honest custodians of their currency, of their money. So it's great news to see that customers are trusting the banks again. I'm sure that the moment we start to talk about switching to naira, it'll be a different ball game. Switching currencies to the new one, that'll be a different ball game. Presidential poll, Supreme Court to hear Atiku and Obi's case against Tinubu next Monday. 2023 polls, tribunals dismissal of 712 petitions, withdrawal of 179 validate our conduct, says INEC. And the final story this morning on the Vanguard, Tinubu, others mourn as ex-DG Budget Office Bode Augusto dies at 68. Our condolences, thoughts, and our prayers. That's what we have on the Vanguard. Let's head over to the Daily Independent.
All right, moving on to the Daily Independent newspapers this morning. It says that Labour warns federal government to honor pact or face nationwide strike. And that's with regards to fuel subsidy. And once again, we've said this, a lot of times here that a lot of Nigerians don't have any faith or, faith generally in the Nigerian Labour Congress and the threats of a strike. Nigerians do not feel like the NLC really, has their back. Naira hits an all-time low of 1,152 to the dollar at black market. And this, 5 years ago, maybe not 5, 10 years ago, if you're told a Nigerian that the Naira will be at 700 Naira to the dollar, the person would have told you, you are, a liar from the pit of hell. Can never be possible. It's never going to happen. The Naira will never fall that badly. But this is the reality today. And, from what it looks like, it feels like it's going to hit 1,500, maybe even 2,000 Naira to the dollar from what it seems. It doesn't seem like there's any, respite, there's any break that Nigerians are going to catch with regards to the exchange rate. There's nothing really tangible that the government seems to have done that might, fix the current situation. But yes, currently at 1,152. The PDP calls for Governor Akeredolu's impeachment, mostly because he has, from reports, returned back to the country after medical leave and has not really been seen much in public carrying out the job of governance in Ondo State. And of course, there were still rumors that he might be once again seeking a trip abroad for medical treatment. Also on the Daily Independent this morning, rising insecurity, Afenifere urges creation of motivated, equipped state local government police. And Tinubu withdraws the Imam's appointment as FEMA chairman, appoints new DGs, CEOs for NADF, NOA, NTA, FRC, and others. And, quick thoughts on the FEMA chairman's appointment. I've seen people comment and say, what exactly happened?
What were they thinking that they made him appoint?
Exactly. What exactly was it?
It's not about, oh, we're listening to the cries of people complain, so we pulled him out. Why did you appoint him in the first place? What were the qualifications that you looked at to give him that appointment?
And it should make everyone then question every other person who has been given appointments across the country because is it a bazaar?
Baba Ijebu.
Because, the whole idea of, we're listening government, no, that's not it. Why was he picked in the first place? What were the things like you've mentioned?
Listening government would be, we appointed someone as Minister of Youth. Everybody complained that this man is too old to be a youth, and then it's okay, we remove him and then we put somebody younger. Yes, but in fact, they're even similar. To be honest, at this point, it's like, what is the criteria for selecting pre-selection, and then selecting them before you then come and listen to Nigerians complaining and then fine.
I'll be honest, it doesn't feel like it is an appointment given because these MDAs need to be better. it feels like these appointments are given because you take. Your turn, and that's what it
The
seems like.
words of Nyesom Wike,
Yeneba, yes. All right, federal government to shut 3rd Mainland Bridge 24 hours for repairs. Final
That's from
story this
Saturday
morning.
through Sunday,
Yes.
yeah.
Supreme Court fixes Monday to hear Atiku's motion and fresh evidence against Tinubu. These are the stories that we can take with the time that we have.
I just want to quickly talk about the federal government to shut down 3rd Mainland Bridge 24 hours for repairs. I really hope, first of all, that they are shutting down that bridge for 24 hours to actually repair it, and that the holes on the 3rd Mainland Bridge, the potholes are terrible. The traffic is inhumane. It is horrible to see what it has become. And also, there's concerns that from 24 hours, it went into 2 months. You know how they usually say, oh, we'll do this in 24 hours, and after a while, everything keeps getting longer and longer. So I'm hoping that the work that needs to be done is able to be done in 24 hours.